gonna be even more fun than I thought.
My life is awful right now. Yes, it's terrible. Like, my mom comes and tells me I wasn't dead for 18 years. My partner, I can't tell him, obviously, and he's going crazy, and I'm just letting it happen. Doesn't feel good. And, Juliet's in a coma, so I'm not a happy camper. I'm no longer like the life's good guy.
Imagine, a man, who has very much in his life, he's fought crime, and he's, saved people and sent people to jail, but all of a sudden now he sees creatures, you know what I mean? And he sees, not only does he see creatures, but he sees them change from creature to human. So I think what happens is, Hanks ends the first season just unstable, and I think we sort of take that into the second season where he doesn't really know where he is and what's what. So, he's questioning, what he wants to do moving forward. Does he want to stay a police officer? Does he want to quit the force? And then questioning, his mental state. So he does take time. He goes to seek professional help. Goes and sits down and talks with the shrink just to try to figure out what's going on. And I think we end with that, and we sort of start the season for the first few episodes with Hank in this sort of precarious world where he's just sort of trying to figure out and balance himself a little bit, so he can sort of get back to center.
What happens in a lot of shows is the pilot's great, and then you go to series and the quality dips because you don't have as much time, for whatever reason. I wanted the same quality, and we went seamless. I think from pilot to the first episode, the Bears episode, and then as we started discovering Nick, discovering this world, it sort of informed us how it should go. And we have wonderful collaborators, and the writers work really well with us up there, and we're very visual. I have a great production designer, cinematographer, and the actors have, as they're learning their characters, they've become better and better and better. And, I think as long as you see that there's growth, and then the energy level in the second season is really amped up. The first 2 episodes are just nonstop, and a lot of action, a lot of energy. So how do you maintain that, and then maintain that emotional connection? So it's not just about creatures or action. It's about how are we sucked into discovering this world through Nick, and then finding out about Juliet, and then the captain, something else, and then what Hank, who we left in the borderline insane, and now how's he deal with this? It's intense.
I definitely think that all of us are finding more of the reality of the show rather than, that kind of like funny horror show that we thought it was in the first season. It's no longer that. It's becoming more real to all of us. So as we sit into it more, I think our characters start to expand. So we're definitely going full force for the darker. It's the way they've always wanted it, with a slight infusion of humor, because that's such a trademark of David Greenwald and Jim Cowell that I don't think you can take that away. This show wouldn't be, I think, what it is now without those little bits of comedy that I put in, that Monroe puts in. I think you have to take that into account there.
Well, the first season was about Nick learning what he was. Second season will be about what do I do with this knowledge, and deepening the mythology of the show. So we'll delve more into what's going on in the world, base everything in a real history, and it'll be bigger, better, wilder. There'll be more more dangerous creatures coming after Nick. You're going to learn a lot about the mom and what happened in the past. He's going to learn more about the history and who's behind all the foment in the world. So where maybe the first season had a lot of micro focus on the big bad wolf is the child molester, and a guy who is a rat creature can have all the rats follow him. We're going to go a little broad. We're going to keep doing that, but we're going to go into a more macro world where we learn more about what's really going on in the world. And to us, it's very real. We don't. It's not like fantasy to us.
We kind of take things we learned in the first season, some of the characters we were introduced to, and we learned about some greater forces happening We learn more about the coins. People are after these coins. They're like this infinite power kind of source. And we learn about kind of the world order. Who has them, who's in charge, that average citizens don't know about.
We're going to get very dark. I mean, everything is going to get heightened, you know, from season 1. And the other thing is that what I think is really encouraging and I'm really excited about is that we're going to delve into everybody's storyline. So I think every character is going to have their own journey, and we're going to go down each individual character's rabbit hole, if you will. You know what I mean? And so when we go down there, I mean, things are just going to get enhanced and rich and creepy and scary. I mean, they're talking about just, you know, more creatures, and I think just intensifying the story part of it, you know what I mean, and really taking us on that journey. So I think it's going to be the mythology is going to be ramped up, and we're going to really sort of do, you know, 2 and 3 story arcs, you know, really delving into the mythology, and so like audiences are going to really have to sort of pay attention. I mean, I've the writers say I think there are going to be a lot of you have to go watch a lot of the shows 2 and 3 times to sort of get some of the little nuggets, you know what I mean, from episode to episode, which is always, you know, always exciting, you know. So we're going to be leaving a lot of little breadcrumbs, you know, along the show's trail for everybody to pick up, and then, you know, just sort of having that water cooler conversation, you know, at work or online or whatever, you know, did you miss this? Did you get that? You know what I mean? And people having to sort of go back. It's going to be fun.
Oh, you even got to see my apartment.
Yeah.
And now, hopefully my cat, Samson, will make an appearance. Because I keep talking about Samson, he never makes an appearance. So, yes, I've been told that you will find out more about my history. So there's that, and then there's more antics that he gets involved with. Because you know I always get into trouble, somehow. But the more trouble I get into, the more fun I have.